Hello, welcome to another edition of Extra Connections. And this is a special edition because we're all at home. Normally we'd be in a studio, next to each other talking, but we're at home right now like everybody else is doing. Thank you and God bless the Zoom meeting. That's what I have to say about there. I'm your host, James Lott Jr. And I'm coming to you from sunny, actually it is sunny today, Inglewood, California, from my home here. So you get to see all my art and my keyboard and all kinds of stuff back there. But I have two amazing people. So the first person, he's been on so many different shows, but I do mostly the soap stuff. So he was on General Hospital and Days of Our Lives. And he just recently got, because I want to talk to how he feels about this, a pre-nomination for an Emmy Award, folks. Emmy Award for his role on Venice, the series. We're excited about that. And we have a twin connection we can talk about in a second. And then, of course, this person is daytime and digital series royalty. Yes, she is. Let me just list like a few of the things that you may know her from. Carly Manning, Days of Our Lives. The whole Buried Alive thing, of course, is famous. Maggie Carpenter on One Life to Live. Olivia Spencer, which is my favorite on GH. We're going to talk about that. And she was the one part of the first, I call the first daytime lesbian super couple. Think about that for a second. And she played Daniel Spencer on Bold and Beautiful Ass. But she co-created the Venice, the series 11 years ago, folks. 11 years ago. And stars as Gina, and as the executive producer of Beacon Hill, which is 6 years old, and plays Claire. I just can't believe that. And she's involved with a really cool project called the Real Women's Network. We'll talk about that also. I happen to have my friends here, Gregory Zarian and Crystal Chappell.
Oh my God.
Hi, you guys.
Great.
So, I'm just going to start off like this. Crystal, you always make me nervous. It's like that high school thing. Every time I look at her, like even when we shoot together, I look at her like, hi, you're Crystal.
You sweet thing.
Well, Crystal, how do you feel about that when you hear that?
Well, it's flattering. I am so such a fan of so many people, and Gregory. I don't know. I feel it's flattering, but I want to just give him a big hug and say, don't worry about it. Let's have some popcorn and some cheese.
Hug, and then I can just stare at you and gush. Crystal was my soap opera crush. And and I met her. My twin brother Lawrence knew Crystal and Michael. And I met Crystal at Nadia Bjorland's wedding, who's a dear friend of mine.
Love Nadia.
Morant, who, like, their family. Like, for us, their family. And Lawrence looked at me and he goes, she's here. And I went, who's here? And he goes, Crystal's here. I hid behind Lawrence. And he was basically dragging me through the grass at this beautiful wedding in Palm Springs. And all I could do is be like, hi. And that was it. And we hugged, and she still makes me nervous. I still sweat when I look at her.
I can see that. It's so funny. Well, I'll tell you. Well, see, the thing, Crystal, for you, and I know you love what you do, and you're just here to do the work. You're here to do the work and all that stuff. And yeah, you're an Emmy winner and you've done all this stuff. But I could tell you just love doing the work. You love the business, don't you?
I do, very much. Yeah, it gets me up in the morning. And I love the people in it, too. That's the other thing. It's creating stuff, but then being able to work with people that you really like and love and admire and who are talented. I'm in awe of talented people, and there's so many of you out there. So it's just fun for me.
I can understand where Gregory's coming from. Last year at Day of Days, I got to meet my ultimate person on Daytime, which was Christian Alfonso, who plays Hope on Days of Our Lives. And for years we have near misses. We know of each other online. Hey, birthday, all this stuff. And then we finally got a chance to interview her at Day of Days. And Gregory, here's so funny. So when she arrived, people were like, James, she's like, say that she's here. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's here. And I've interviewed thousands of people. I've been doing daytime for like 13 years. I've been doing all this stuff. But for some reason, I was like, oh my goodness, I forgot my name. Like, who am I? What am I going to ask her? Before I met her. But then when she walked up, she goes, James, it's finally happening. I was like a big baby. I'm like 6 feet tall, 250 pounds. I was like, I love you. I couldn't she was so gracious. But it's like, I know what you mean when you meet somebody that you've just seen for a long time, admired from afar. You meet them at first. It's a big deal.
It is. I love Christian. Christian has been in our lives for a very, very long time. And I actually wrote a note down, text Christian, had a dream about her again. We were in a convertible. And, they say, especially with I'm cheating on you, Crystal. I hate it, but I got, when I'm being honest. So I got to say that I'm cheating on you. you know, especially with where we are now, our dreams are so vivid. Like I dreamt of her a couple of weeks ago, and then I'm like, woke up going, okay, what's going on with me and Christian Alfonso? She's showing up in a convertible on the PCH with me. Okay, I got to figure what that is. So it's funny that you brought her up because I just dreamt of her.
Well, you know, it's funny. So I'm going to gush on Crystal for a second myself.
Okay,
Crystal,
please.
I want to tell you, Crystal, I am a fan of yours. And I'm also with AfterBuzz TV, of course. And you actually did Audition Days with my co-stars on that show a couple of years ago. You came in and did a spotlight on with them. And I wasn't there that day, and I was so upset. But I saw the interview. But I want to tell you, I'm a fan of yours so much that I have Venice the Series Season 1 on DVD. I mean, I'm telling you, I've had this the whole time.
Oh my goodness. That's wild. That's awesome. Thank you.
You had posted something back in the day about, you usually help with production and try to kind of support, because you were just, you were out there on your own kind of doing this. I said, I'm going to support Crystal because I love her so much. And I love the series. I bought the DVD.
Thank you, James. That's very kind. Thank you.
I did. I did. So, okay. And also, I want to talk about Otalia just for a second, because I really did enjoy that storyline, because you were like the first kind of lesbian super. I mean, this was before social media was really big. All this stuff was happening. It was really a big deal, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, there was, all my children really kind of laid it out there with, and I'm going to not get the characters' names, but it was Eden Regal and.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so they kind of set the stage, and I thought they did it beautifully. But Otalia sort of came in, I think, at a time when social media was really ramping up, and so we got a lot of heat on that. And I thought they told a beautiful story with the two ladies, and especially the characters who are completely different.
Yes.
And coming from different worlds in that story.
They did it in a way that it was kind of like, first you were like straight friends, female friends who kind of came
Frenemies. They were enemies, right. And then frenemies. Right? And then
that's how it is.
Yes, that is. Yeah. I love that. I just love that storyline so much. And Gregory, we have a twin connection because I have a twin sister.
Okay.
So, and I was wondering, have you ever been to the Twinsburg thing in Twinsburg, Ohio?
No.
I haven't either.
This is what I say about, it's when people go, oh my God, what's it like being a twin? And my answer is, it's all I know. Like, what's it like being you? It's all you know. Lawrence is so funny. He's right there. You see?
Yes.
He is my very best friend. But here's what I love about Lawrence and me being twins. We're identical twins. We're very similar, and we're also very different.
Yes, you are. I know Lawrence. You guys are different. Yes.
When we are together, we are very connected, and we also have very independent lives. And I feel that just works best for us. We know of twins that live together, date together, shop together, sleep together. I'm like, get out of my house, Lawrence.
Yeah.
There's, but it runs. It's all I know. So what was so great? I'm just going to throw out the Venice connection is when I met Crystal, I said, hey, I'd love to be part of your Venice family. And a year and a half later, I got an email. Hey, would you like to play this character? And I said, absolutely, to work with such talented people and also get to spend time with Crystal. And I got to work with Nadia and Hillary B. Smith. My first scene was with her. I'm like, you're Hillary B. Smith.
I know, the daytime royalty. Yeah.
But it's such great work to work with. Crystal has brought in great actors that tell stories, and because there's such a history of yours, Crystal, of telling great story and now directing us, you get it. So to do all of that and have a great time on season 5, and then just say, hey, season 6, what are you thinking? And to bring me back in this great storyline to play the twin to the character that I played and do the storytelling that we did was an amazing gift, because it got me to spend more time with Lawrence in my head and in my heart, and also spend time talking about, especially now with the prenom, about what it's like to be a twin, and the good, the bad, the indifferent, just the juicy part of my life. So and back to, it's a long answer, but it's all I know. And
well, it's a good answer. That's a good answer. No, that's what I want. Nobody, and that's what people say. People always say, "What's it like?" What's it like being an only child? I mean, it's what it is. But I was going to ask you about that because you did play a twin of a character you played. I mean, you mentioned a little bit about that. Can you explain a little more about that, like what the process was for you? Because you are a twin in real life, but this is characters are written on the screen. It's not the same thing. Like, how was that for you?
Well, I called my acting coach and I said, okay, listen, I'm playing a twin. And I thought, well, what am I doing? Like, I'm a twin. I get this. Our similarities are so in sync and our differences are so different. So I took, since the character I played in season 5, this kind of very excited detective, Nick, I just spent time thinking of him. I went back and I rewatched what I did, and I just made the choices a little bit different. I made, the spirit, I believe when you're a twin, the spirit is the same. There's a variation of us, but I just took the best of us and I added a little bit of Lawrence because my brother's a fashion expert.
Yeah.
So I added, and that's why I play on season 6. I added some of that, but then I also added sprinkles of me throughout all of it. So they're very simple differences and they're very definite differences. So that's a long answer, but that's how I chose to make the difference.
You can answer. Crystal, how much input do the actors have on their characters? Because I know everything's written on a page and they're following that, but how much input can they have while they're doing scenes?
I hope a lot. I mean, I hope I make them feel comfortable to do that because I think I need a story structure. I need for A and B to happen, and then we need to keep going. So if there are nuances that they bring to a character that add to it, and I'm always, it's, again, I love it. I love seeing talented people work. It's sort of my gift to me when I do this, right? So they can do what they want. I tell them I just need them to get these story points laid out, and then the rest is their playground.
So I feel like once you're in it, once you're doing the scenes, that's where some of the real stuff comes out. A take may happen, you go, ooh, do that again, right? And like, let's try that again, or that really did work. And I'm sure that all comes out while you're actually doing the acting, isn't it?
True, yeah, it happens a lot on set. We go through a rehearsal and you can start to see what people are doing. And sometimes we just have to pull back on something because of sound issues, just technical stuff. But, you try to let the talent do their stuff, do their thing. Yeah.
I guess I keep saying this, I'm going to say this till I have no more breath in my body. Soap actors are some of the hardest working, most talented actors out there, period. Not just television, but period. And if you can get a soap actor on any of your projects, you are blessed because they know what to do and how to get it done, don't they, folks?
They do. It's a race, and especially these days, you really have to learn your stuff, know your stuff, and show up. And unfortunately, because of my budget, I'm on the same sort of time constraints that I think current soaps are on, where we have to be done by a certain time because it's just union rules and money and stuff like that nobody wants to talk about.
Of course not. All that other stuff is like, we don't know about that stuff, but it's very important. It adds to what you have to get done at a certain time.
It is, and it does affect the creativity, and sometimes I have to make hard decisions and say we have to move. But I try to build in my days as a production manager where I can say we're going to spend 2 hours on this scene and hopefully be able to give actors time to do their thing. And I often say to like the DP, pick the money, pick which scene you really want to spend time on lighting. Otherwise, so I can schedule the rest of the day. It's just technical stuff, but it's a joy when you get to set and the actors are so prepared. And I don't worry about any actor coming on my set that's been through daytime in any respect, because I know they know what needs to happen. And I know that right out of the gate, they're going to give me their best.
Yeah. Greg, because you've done prime time and you've done daytime. Was it daunting when you first did your first daytime soap? Was it like that? Because the pacing, the dial, all this stuff. Was it?
My first job was a daytime soap. My first job was Days of Our Lives, and I had no clue what I was doing. So I'm like, what? I have to memorize all that. Like, I didn't know. Since it was my first job, fast forward to where I am now, it's some of the best acting I've been part of, and I've been able to see and participate. You know, as you were saying, you know, when Crystal called it a playground, it's a playground. And when you get to work with someone like Crystal, who has been on my side and is now on her side, and like when, you know, when my first scene with Hillary Smith a couple of years ago, she's done both sides. You know, she gets to direct as well. So it's the technical stuff, but it's also the boom, we are in the sandbox and we are just splashing around. And because we get to play, we find these great things. There's things that, you know, that I got to work with Crystal season 5, and I was interrogating her, my character was. And at one point I was staring at her. I'm like, "You're Crystal Chappell." And she's like, "Yeah, I know, let's go." But what's so beautiful about working with someone like Crystal, and I got to work with Orla Cassidy on this last season, they are so generous as actors, because some actors are so used to finding their light and doing their thing. It's not so much give and take, but in daytime, it's quicker, it's faster, it's changed so much in the years that you are just playing this amazing game of tennis. And especially on Venice, I'm playing tennis every time I'm on this set. Even being in a scene where I'm not saying anything, it's this amazing game of generous people giving generous gifts to you. So how do you not want to be part of that tennis game? So it's a great, great gift. I'm super, super lucky.
How do you memorize lines?
Prayer.
Yeah.
Repetition, and I say it out loud. I will get a script, like with Crystal's script. I read it, and then the first thing I do is I whisper it, and then I take walks with it, so it becomes part of my body. And then if something authentically turns up, like the detective was very much more handsy than I was in this season. He was a lot more calm, but still a different, it depends on how I'm feeling. So it just, movements are very important to me. If I catch myself reading a script and I do that, I dive into, okay, what is that for him? What is he hiding? What is he doing? So it's part of the memorization process. And also I know what the other character is saying. That's really important for me.
I'll tell you something, Gregory. It's kind of, I'm almost a little similar to you. I mean, I've done some acting stuff here and there. I mean, I'm not an actor by any means. I bow to you guys. But I have done some web series, things like that. And it's funny because I'm the same person. I like to walk around. I'm about movement also. It's so funny. I have a big garden in my backyard. So I would go in my garden with the script, with my pages they give me, or my sides, or whatever you call them. And they would give them to me, and I would walk around and say it out loud over and over again. And then of course, they tell you get to the set, and it's like, well, you should know your lines, but also be open to being present, right, to your co-star. And like I said, being generous and going, okay, I'm here, because this is not some robot-driven thing. It's like it's supposed to be kind of like real life. You're giving somebody a story in every scene, so you want it to be natural too, correct?
But it's also a feeling, Crystal. I mean, you've done a lot more pages than I've ever done. How did you do it? How do you?
I just read it again and again and again, and then you kind of have to set up the situation in your head and create it. I have to create it in my head and just learn the lines, and then you kind of have to throw it away when you get into the scene. Again, it's hitting those story points. When I first started, they were very precise. You had to be very much on the word, and because they were doing it off camera shots, and your words were the cues. And I think as things have progressed, you can get a little looser with the dialogue as long as you are sort of getting the point across. But I just repetition. That's the only thing, that get the lines in your head and then throw it away and see what happens.
I figure that actors who become directors are probably some of the best directors to actors. What are both of your thoughts on that?
That's probably true. That's probably accurate in that, they're very technical directors, and you see that in certain films, and those films are great in their own way, right? But it's nice to, when you have a very character-driven piece, to have a director who understands what the process is, so that, and understand that everyone's process is different. So that you don't force your way of doing things onto them. It kind of just has to happen on its own organically. So I think, I think they understand that.
What do you think, Gregory?
I think, well, no, I think because we're talking, when Crystal directed me last season, it was just some technical things, like come here, go there, do, really just allowed me and Orla in this one scene that I used for the prenom to just tell our story. And what I appreciate about Crystal is she lets us bring the best of ourselves to it. Sometimes I've worked with directors that are just very adamant about how this is, so it kind of takes away some of my freedom. I was there because Crystal saw something in me and in the script and in the story that she trusted me with. As actors, we are trusted to tell a story. So it's great to, and yes, Crystal said, pull back a little bit, or maybe add this, or maybe he would, which I always love, because she's, the director's looking in the monitor. She's looking at the product as it's happening. And I love stuff like that, because maybe she saw something that I didn't see or I didn't get. It's very much all a team effort. So somebody that's been in the trenches as an actor that is now a director and combines both of them, it's magical to me, because it allows me to get really messy with somebody that's been messy with me, or at least has been messy on another project. So, and Ben, I'm not saying anything against, I've worked with some really amazing directors that have never been an actor. So I'm lucky on both fields, but especially in this one situation, it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah. Crystal, we mentioned 11 years ago, Venice. I mean, like back then it was called, you're a great girl. Don't worry about that. You're a good girl. No, but the thing is, I mean, like back then they were called web series, and now they're more called digital dramas now, digital series now. But I mean, I actually remember there were a few, like Anacostia, I think The Bay is just starting. Like, there's only a few of you in the field, and it wasn't fully accepted yet. I mean, it was still, I was an uphill battle. I can't remember that. Do you remember about when you said, I'm going to do a web series? I mean, do you remember that?
Sure. Yeah, because, Guiding Light was going off the air, and there was just big emotions around all of that, certainly. And the story and everything, just again, the internet and blowing up with Otalia. And I love computers, and I'm not proficient by any, I don't want to give the wrong impression. I just love the freedom that it offers you, right? And that's really what it came down to, was let's go ahead and create this storyline for the internet. But no, I think it helped not to know what I was doing. I think it helped not to know how much work it was going to be. I think it helped me. I've always been a risk taker. I think most creative people are, who put themselves out there. But yeah, you didn't know the work and what it was going to be, and people flagging your stuff, or
right,
all over the place. So yeah, it was a much smaller field, and it was kind of nice not being too visible at that point. Yes. So you could sort of figure it out,
TV Guide called her record breaking. Just thought I'd say.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It was something that I remember. In fact, of course, I live in the west side of Los Angeles, so I know Venice. I go to Venice all the time. So it's like when you hear that, I go, "Oh, Venice, okay." And it literally was Venice, the series. And because you did kind of continue, the Otalia storyline, kind of in the first season, it was like, I'm going to follow her over. And it was a very interesting thing. But you're right, because now so many eyes were on it. You can work out the kinks. You can kind of figure it all out, and then naturally grow your audience. That must have been very exciting.
It's been a great journey. We're not done yet, but it's been done so far. 11 years, yeah.
I know, it's kind of crazy that. Now, Gregory, so now you're one of her people who's gotten a pre-nomination. Can you first explain to people out there who don't know what that means? What is a pre-nomination for an Emmy Award?
A pre-nomination means that you have your body of work, and you are invited by the Daytime Emmys to submit a scene or a reel of your work, and you are then judged by your peers. And this year were about 60 to 70 submissions, in my category. And I did it 2 years ago because my thing is this. And the scene I submitted was the scene that I did with Crystal. Is because I got to work with somebody that I respect and admire and love, I'm going to submit to the Daytime Emmys, and nothing happened. When we came back and did this next season, and the storytelling was so great to me, and we touched on, one thing that I'll say, and I'm not trying to step away from the Emmy thing, is what I love about Venice, the series, it's real stories, and it's a love story to me, and just the ins and outs of a love story, real life that happens. We all have quirky characters. We all have fans, friends in our lives that are a little bit more out there than not. So it's real life stuff happening, and there's love all wrapped up in it. So when Crystal brought me in and I did this season, there was just a really great scene that I got to do with Orla. And I thought when it came up in the fall, hey, I want to submit again, let me submit. And I got an email from, and you have to set up, you have to send a scene. You're given a little bit of time. It has to say name, series, the category that you're submitting in. And I did it, wished it well. And I woke up one day and Carol Lowe, who is very connected to Crystal and the Venice family. And she's one of the hardest working women in this business behind the scenes. She sent me an email and it said, yay, GZ. And I also called, and here's what I think is really important is I reached out to Crystal and I said, are you good with me submitting for the Emmy? Because bottom line is it's Crystal's vision, it's Crystal's show, it's her passion, it's the story that she's putting out there. And I feel as an actor, it's only respectful to get the thumbs up from the boss. And she said, I love you, do it. So I got an email and I got a pre-nom and I'm one of 10. And I'm super grateful, and it's taken on a life. It's taken on, especially with where we are in the world, it's allowed me to become an advocate for Venice the series, but also since we touch on bullying, it's allowed me to do some really great interviews and discuss another pandemic that is global. It's cyberbullying. So in many ways, it's been a gift that keeps on giving, and I'm super grateful and forever indebted for Crystal to saying, hi, come play with us. So once again, a long answer, but a really important answer.
My thing I would say, you brought up a good point, is that these nominations are great. Any series awards, Emmys, whatever, they're all great. But it is kind of like, now we can showcase our work, the general, just the overview of Venice the series, basically. I can actually, now people are gonna go, what's that series? I know that series, what's going on? And now
I love everything about it. Like I don't, I get to celebrate somebody that I've been crushing on for a long time. And also, somebody that I respect, that is fearless in talking about life, and it's great storytelling. There's what's interesting is in the pre-nom, I then now get to look at some other storytelling, and I commend anybody that submitted, anybody that has said, hey, I'm going to do this and we're going to create that. It's a job and it is daunting and overwhelming. I am proud to be part of the Venice family because of the quality, the storytelling, the level of actors that I get to play with. So it's everything. And again, the message, love is love. I don't look, you're going to love who you love. It shouldn't have a gay, straight, lesbian. It should just be like, how great, I'm in love. And let me introduce you to my love. And that's what I feel it should be. We are in a place where it's gotten bigger. And yay, love can be binary, transgender, straight, gay, whatever. At the end of the day, who are you in love with and how does that make you feel? And Venice the series, to me, it's fighting for what you want and fighting for the love of your life. And at the end of the day, how great is that?
I'll tell you, Crystal, the one reason why I like your show is that the people look real. There's some good-looking folks on there, of course, that kind of stuff. But your folks look real, like real people that I would know, like people that I would associate with, or that I would be acquaintances with, who I'd be friends with. That's one of the things. Sometimes you want to see us reflected on screen, just regular folks that look like all body types and sizes and shapes and colors. Like we want to see that, and because LA is such a big melting pot of things. I feel like your series has always been that way.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. Listen, I want to, Gregory, first of all, I love you. And what you brought this season, last season was just fun to watch you play. And because I had no idea what you could do one way or the other. And it was just like, oh, he's just all in. And like, it's exciting when you see an actor who's just all in, right? Just willing to go, willing to put himself out there. Because again, like I said before, it's risky. I mean, you have to kind of put yourself out there. But coming back this season, and it was just a scene, but I think, what you did was so quiet and honest. And, you know, that's where we want to get to as a performer. So that's such a gift to Venice, to me. And I just want to thank you for that. And you deserve all of this. You deserve all of the pre-nominal of the love. So.
Great. Yeah, you guys are good. You give me teary-eyed. Cheese and crackers. I was looking at Greg going, that's very sweet, but to hear your person say that to you must be just feel amazing.
You should hear that. It's all in here. You've got this. Totally.
Super touched. I don't, sometimes you don't know what you mean to somebody until you've done what you've done. So thank you. And how lucky am I that I get to represent a show that allows us to be that honest. And I think it's just honesty, telling the truth. And I'm lucky. I'm really, really lucky. And people have been super supportive and kind. One thing that I'm grateful for about this time to talk about bullying in the show and everything is I feel we're in a kinder place in the world right now. And I feel that people want to feel good and feel better. And, what do I do and how do I get through? So I'm lucky to be part of the series that gives us the freedom to go so deep and so vast and have it just be all about love. And to answer what you asked a while ago, James. So what happens is in the prenom, it's not a popularity contest. Your peers actually have to watch the work and judge the work, and it's a 1 to 10, and then from the prenom right now, and it actually ends this coming Sunday. Our peers have been given categories. So there's a bunch of people out there that have been given the category of outstanding supporting actor in digital drama, and they have to watch the work. And I love that because it shouldn't be a voting contest. Right. It should be let me see what moves, touches, and inspires me. And I'm with a great group of guys that tell really good story. There's one actor that I'm hoping that gets the nomination, and it'd be great to put an Emmy right here.
Yes.
Crystal. And, so yeah, it's super exciting. And, you spend a lot of your life working for this moment, and I'm grateful that the moment means so much because it's also connected to Crystal, and it very full circle.
I love it. I love dog. I love it.
and puppy behind.
The puppy behind. This is real life, kid. This is real life. This is real life. But I want to bring up something to you, Crystal, that you brought up. That I think it's probably true, is that because you've done some, obviously, on Days of Our Lives, some outrageous storylines. Carly Buried Alive. But the point I think has to be is that you kind of have to commit fully, don't you, to performance, because if you go half in, then it doesn't really work, right? You have to kind of just fully go in, whatever the script says, you just go in and do it, correct?
You do. You have to say, well, gee, how would I feel if I woke up in a coffin? I mean, you really have to ask yourself those questions. So yeah, you have to go there. And it's not always easy. And that, but because the circumstances are so outrageous, sometimes those are easier to do because it's not like a storyline where you're losing a child or, something heavy like that. It's like, you can kind of play with that. And imagine, if you stop and ask yourself, what would it be like if I woke up in a coffin? You probably would have an honest answer, which is,
Well, I got to meet Louise Sorrell a few years ago, and she's the boss. She was great, and she tells a whole story about that. But I remember when I interviewed Drake Hogestyn and Deidre Hall a few years ago, and I was like, okay, that whole possession by the devil, that was a big thing and all that stuff. But I said, but wasn't the whole thing a love story? Almost like what Greg was saying, wasn't it all a love story? And he's like, that was the point. Everything, and even your story is all about love and hate and jealousy, and that's really what I mean. You can throw it, you can dress it up in these weird, aliens and all that stuff, but it really is the core was kind of a love story. And so I love that. So you have to go in and you have to sell it, and you sold it. Ms. Crystal, you sold it.
And Louise is a dear friend of mine. It's the best when you are playing adversaries with somebody that like you really trust, because you can just go at it. It was great. It was fun.
She's the best. She's the best.
Yeah.
So I just want to mention, we'll get back to Venice in a second, but I want to mention Beacon Hill. So is that coming back?
It is. We launched our second season last Friday.
Okay, good. Okay, good. I have to watch it.
Episode 2 is coming out this Friday, and then there'll be 4 others after that. But that's our first half of our season 2.
But girlfriend, so how are you doing? You got Venice series over here, and then you got Beacon Hill over here. I mean, are you a very organized person?
It's scary. It's scary, and I might need medication for it one day. But it really is. I tell I'm idle hands. It's better that I stay busy, and I like it. I like producing for that reason. So yeah, it's good.
What can we expect this season? I know you can't give away spoilers, but what can we expect in Beacon Hill?
It's probably one of my favorite shows. It's one of those, when you go on somebody else's show and they've written it, and Jessica and Linda Hill are amazing co-producers and writers, but it's all politics and family dynamics, but it's done in a very, I don't know, it's very dynasty, less splash, but I don't know. There's something about it that I love so much, because everyone's got an agenda. It's all about politics, and even within the family, everyone has an agenda. Yeah. So it just makes for good, in my opinion, good soap. It's good fun.
Soapy, I would say soapy goodness. Good soapy goodness. I love that. And of course, you have this new network that's coming out, or it's kind of this streaming thing for all women. I'm done by women, produced by women, directed by women. I'm so excited. So talk about that.
I want a t-shirt.
I want a t-shirt too.
Real Women's Network, realwomensnetwork.com. And we have apps on, the iPhone and the Android. We are, I just, my journey of producing for 10 years, and Jessica and Linda own a book distribution publishing company. We just wanted to create a platform for women content creators. Anybody can watch it. And certainly there can be collaborations. We just want to make sure there's a strong female presence in the creation and the execution of any of these projects, any of these shows. And it's been amazing to sit and watch things that I probably never would have seen before had they not been sent to us. And they're amazing. And I'm like, these are like little gems that just need a place to be showcased. So we're super excited to host basically all these amazing women content creators.
That's amazing. I mean, we have to lift each other up. It's like if someone else doesn't do it, we have to do it, right? It's like, it's kind of thing. It's like, I'm a female in the business. I should be lifting up other females. And you're right. It's all this content out there that's just not getting seen, or not getting seen by enough people, or not getting seen at all. And it's like, give them a leg up and help them out.
100%. Some women have helped me up along the way, and you got to extend a hand backwards and pull somebody else up, for sure.
Okay. Gregory, so how do you stay in the business? Like, how do you stay motivated? Because this business, can be tough. You both know this, of course, and I know it too. It can be very tough. I always say sometimes it's set against you not to make it. There's obstacles that keep coming up. How do you kind of stay motivated and stay in the business?
I make the choice to stay motivated and stay in the business. It's all the choice. I can either, I'm not gonna, real quick, Crystal, again, congratulations.
Yes.
I just want to say that I am a better man because of women like you. And I mean that. My mom and dad, they raised gentlemen, and our mother was the best. And we were just better men because of her. So if you ever need a man in your women's world, please, I'm coming along for that ride as well. Like, hats off. And we all know that people do better in business when women are present. So
I agree with that completely.
There's a White House somewhere where I'd love to send you over there and make some changes. It's a choice. Everything I do is a choice, you know, and I'm not saying this business doesn't kick me in the teeth. It doesn't kick me in the gut. And it's also a choice. And here's where I go to. I was sitting at a casting for a commercial. I was there. It was my second hour of waiting. And I was like, come. And I went, I chose to be here and I love what I do.
Right.
So I don't. And it's a choice. And this is very much my business. It's not, my job as an actor is just not showing up on set. It's what I do before and after. It's thank you notes. It's being present. It's, you know, and especially now with where we are in the world and what's going on, I'm fine. So what can I do to be of service to people in my business, people I love, people that maybe are not as fine? And it's as simple as sending a text and saying, hey, I'm checking in, how are you? I'm very grateful to be here 25 years later. And I'm very grateful to be able to continue to tell stories. So that's how I stay busy. And I have stories of my own that I ultimately want to tell someday. So my desk is filled with Post-its, and it's happy chaos. And that's how I stay busy. And like doing stuff like this, you know, I miss Crystal. I don't get to see Crystal when I see that, hey, it was great to be in LA for a minute. I'm like, wait, what?
We will. Yeah, you know what they say, it's not a race, it's a marathon. So that's our career, and really that's our life, you know. So you might as well enjoy the ups and downs of entertainment. It's a fun business to be in. It's hard, but it's ultimately rewarding.
I agree. That's why I decided when, you know, I've been home as of this recording 35 days. I've not left my house.
How is that for you?
Well,
because I found you. I actually sought you out because when all this came up, I thought, who do I want to talk to? And who tells great story? Because even as a host, you tell great story. And you were super fun, and you were doing something with somebody that I love, Carolyn Hennessy. And
That's my girl.
I love her. And you're so good at what you do.
Thank you.
I reached out to Matt and I said, we have to find him. I like him. And here we are, you know, so.
That's very sweet of you. Thank you. I love what I do. I love talking to people. That's like number one first, right? But for me, I have a beautiful house. I have a huge yard. I am very blessed. And so I knew that I made my home comfortable pre-quarantine. My house was always comfortable. So when it happened, I was like, well, I can live here. I'm fine. I got plenty of supplies. I'm an organized person too, Crystal. I know how it is. And I have plenty of supplies. And I just said, I can order out. I can order groceries if I need to. I can order food. There's a restaurant in my neighborhood that brings you drinks too.
Oh, that's lovely.
They do. If you order dinner, they bring you a drink.
Give me their number. Does it travel 2 miles north? That's lovely.
Exactly. So I found
cocktails.
Exactly. I was like, I found something. But for me, I made a conscious decision. I'm not going to sit here and watch the news 24/7. I'm going to be constructive. And I said, James, you've been in this business 13 years. You've interviewed thousands of people. Call all your friends. Call all your PR people. You have great relationships with everybody. Just start saying, I want to interview people. I want to put out content that's positive while we're going through this. And so for the last 35 days, I've interviewed over 50 people. You guys are like 51, 52.
Awesome.
I mean, I'm putting out content. I'm calling all my soap friends and my Hallmark friends. I mean, I'm calling my musician friends, and we're just having conversations. We're showcasing you. That's my service. My service is to make sure you look good and make sure that your work and projects get put out. And that's how I live my life. So that's it.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure, you guys. So, I mean, I do want to kind of ask, I mean, just in your opinion, as we wrap this up, how do you think things are going to go in Hollywood, so to speak, now? And, you know, I mean, I feel like people are being very creative and finding ways to put out content like this. But do you really think we've turned a corner? Things will be really different now?
You know, I have a 16-year-old who's in online schooling, and he wanted to go out and toss a football. And he said, I won't get close to my friends. And so we're pulling out latex gloves, and it's a whole new world of watching two kids throw a football, sterilizing things. And I think that when we have this a vaccine and things under control, and we, you know, put together a committee that'll look for other pandemics in our future, yeah, I think we can get back to normal. But I think there's always going to be that awareness now. I know I'm not a total germaphobe, but I'm certainly much more aware of, you know, washing my hands and how to wash my hands. I'm learning a lot through all of this, right?
Gregory, what do you think, Gregory?
No, the same. I don't, if we just learn to wash our hands, I think here's what I feel. I feel that we are going to learn to appreciate and respect each other more. You know, I was brought up as a gentleman. I will say that. I'm kind, and my parents brought us up chivalrous. I believe that younger generations were just taught differently, no good, bad, or indifferent. So I hope, if anything, we are kinder. We are more aware of who is around us. We are more helpful to the elderly. We want to do more for other people. And as far as the business, you know, we got through 9/11. We get to the airport earlier now. We check in our luggage. We don't put things that are this small in our bags. We will adapt. We will get through it. And I just hope as a world, we just practice more kindness, you know. And if I have to use a little more hand lotion on my hands because my hands are so dry from washing my hands, then that's what I have to do. And we will figure it out. And I hope we figure it out with just more love and more respect.
And taking care of our planet, since it's Earth Day.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's been remarkable to see how much cleaner our planet has become now that we've not treading on it so harshly. So I hope that that's something that we carry over once we're able to go out and resume life as normal, that we remember how clean this world can be and take good care of it.
I agree with that.
We are the visitors here.
Yeah.
We are. I agree with that.
Our world. Happy Earth Day. I'm glad you brought that up, Crystal. We are visitors on this amazing planet. So we need to, it's kind of like, you know what? We are given a great moment to just reboot and reset and come at all of it a lot more respect and gratitude. And James, how are you? How are you getting through it?
I delivery service.
I do my service. I meditate in the morning. I have my tea every morning. I meditate every morning in my garden usually. That's how I get started. And then I get to work. I have interviews all day. I get to edit them. I have a good time. I'm also painting. I just learned how to crochet. I'm learning how to crochet right now. Want you going to show me something? Okay.
No, I just started. Can you see it? I just started this.
I just started too. So I started my first chain, and I'm on to my second row. But I'm left-handed, so I had to go online and watch a left-handed person teach me how to hold the needle.
Oh, okay.
It's a little different. Yeah. A little different. We don't. Somebody told me just do the reverse. I'm like, that's not how that works for left-handed people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to learn how to do this. So I just started crocheting too. I want to make a scarf or something first, or a.
Could you make two? Like make one for Crystal and one for me. That'd be great.
That's all I'll do. I'll make them for each of you guys. That's what I'll do.
Awesome.
I'll do. So right now the colors are blue and brown. So it's in two colors. But I'm also painting. I'm also doing a puzzle. So I have little things set up in my house that I'm like, I'll do a puzzle right now for a while. Then I might do crocheting right now, or I might. So that's how I'm getting through it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like you, girl. Idle hands are not good for James Lott Jr. We gotta do something.
You gotta keep moving.
Thank you both for being on. You both are a joy and a pleasure. And it was my honor to have you on my show.
Thank you, James. This was so wonderful. It's just nice. I miss talking to people.
Yeah, that's so funny.
But it's different. It's nice to see a face.
So, Gregory, tell me where they can find you online.
Oh, you can find on Instagram at Gregory Zarian, on Twitter at Gregory Zarian, on Facebook at Gregory Zarian, and please feel free to visit my website gregoryzarian.com.
Now, Crystal, tell folks where they can find Venice, Beacon Hill, and the Rumors Network. So how they can find all three of those.
Sure, VeniceTheSeries.com, BeaconHillTheSeries.com, and RealWomen'sNetwork.com.
And where can they find you, girl?
I'm on Twitter at Crystal Chappell. I am on Instagram. I don't even remember I think it's Crystal Chappell. And then Facebook. Yeah, that's me. That's where I am.
That's what they are.
We're building a house in the backyard, like literally a 2-story house.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, so you want to talk about people staying busy. I'll send you pictures.
Yeah, you are busy. Wow. And folks,
will you say hi to Michael for me?
I sure will.
Oh, yes, Michael Sabatino. Hello, another great actor, everything too. Yes, I'm a fan of his too.
He saw me crushing on his wife at a wedding. And Lauren, I was like, hi, she's beautiful. Is it weird that I want to hug your wife and not let go? Yeah.
I admire him too. He's such a great actor also. So make sure you tell him that.
No.
So folks, this is Extra Connections. You can follow me. We're all James Lott Jr. sold at James Lott Jr. and all social media platforms. This is on my YouTube channel, JLJ Media, and in the audio version, hello audio podcast people, it's going to be on every streaming service you're talking about. We're talking from Spotify to iHeartRadio to Deezer to Spreaker to every Apple podcast, everywhere. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Wherever you see this or hear this, share with people who need to hear this, or are fans of theirs or the series that we just talked about. Share it with them. And lastly, folks, please, everyone, try to be, as safe as you can and as sane as you can. I know it's a difficult time. I see you, I hear you, and I feel what you're going through because we're going through it together.